go live. Let me see.
We
It says
are
we're
now.
live.
We are.
Okay. Okay, I can see us on YouTube now.
Yay!
Let me turn my phone down so there's not an echo.
Oh.
Hey, Dad, is it showing that you're a moderator? Let me get in the live chat here. It's showing you're a moderator in my YouTube. Oh. My computer was reminding me that we're live.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to figure out, like, the angle is different. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm more in the center. Okay.
I know, it's weird. And it's like backwards, the screen. Like
Yeah. It's throwing me off.
Me too.
My
I'm
bangs throw me off.
Oh yeah, you're sideways.
Yeah. We'll give it just a few minutes before we get into the questions to see if anybody pops back in. Dad, we're very happy to have you here.
Yeah, we are super happy.
We're gonna wait a couple minutes. See if anybody else pops in. Hey, Jackie. We're just giving it a couple minutes, giving people a minute to get in before we get into the questions. I have a few questions to ask you about a wide spectrum of things in your life, so I'm really excited.
Yay.
I hope you are too.
I'm an open book, so.
Well, I thought it would be really fun to start interviewing other YouTubers so that everybody can. I think it's a really good way to put yourself and others out there, grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. If I glance to the side, I'm reading the chat. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Beth?
I was on private before, and now I can see if I hit comments, I can see it.
Okay. Just making sure because it's kind of hard. At least my dad says that it's hard to go back and forth between the chat and the actual interaction. And if I cough, I apologize. I still have that little tickle in my chest from COVID, and I feel it. So if I cough once in a while, sorry.
You're always forgiven.
Thank you. So what are your girls doing? Are they at home or?
No, they went off to go play because I'm actually going to be taping tonight. So we're videoing, I'm going to make a charcuterie board for Valentine's Day. Because we did that last year, and they were just asking me, they're like, oh, can we do a charcuterie board this year? I'm like, sure. Sounds like fun. So I'm like, okay. So
I love charcuterie boards.
Me too.
I can make those an entire meal.
Me too. Yeah. So
good.
That's what they're doing.
Okay. I guess we'll. Oh, thanks, Dad, for putting the links up.
Oh, cool. Yay.
And that I lost my train of thought. I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and people will come in or watch the replay or whatever. But I hate to just keep it here for too terribly long because Nick has the kids in the living room, and I'm not sure how long that's going to last. So
I feel you.
We'll see. We'll see. It'll be crazy if I don't get interrupted. But anyway. So sorry. Okay. So my first question is, what made you want to start YouTube?
I actually started YouTube 4 years ago. No, actually a little bit before that, because we had not even moved to Arizona, and my kids had been watching all those family YouTube channels, and so we actually had a family channel first for a really long time, and we did all sorts of goofy family challenges and different things like that. But it always gets hard when you have 2 adults and kids with different schedules, and we were homeschooling, to do fun, wild, crazy videos. And so I was like, I need to do more of my niche, so I didn't feel like it was not exploiting my kids, but making them do these videos all the time, even though now they're oh, I want to do a video all the time. But so it was kind of the girls, they just were really wanting to do it. And I said, okay. And then I just fell in love with editing and meeting all the people and connecting when we're like moms and we're at home doing like our mom thing. I think we just like kind of get
Yes,
disconnected from the world, and there's like true
definitely.
awesome YouTube moms like that I just like love. Like obviously you're one of them,
Yes.
but you know what I mean? Like that we're just like
Yes.
we have the same creative outlet because doing YouTube makes it, we're similar in those ways, and you just like get to connect. So I really liked that aspect of it, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm like, we live one time, and I'm just gonna do it. So that's kind of how I started.
Well,
Girl.
I'm glad you did, or otherwise we never would have met.
I know. I was super glad that we did too. And now I just wish I lived by you.
Right? It'd be so much fun. No, that's probably my favorite thing about YouTube is the community because I mean, we all share the same interests. I talk to somebody that I've met from YouTube every single day.
Yeah, me too.
At least one person every day. I've made some of the best friends
Yeah.
from YouTube, and I love it.
Yeah, and they get us.
What's your well? My next question was, "What's your favorite part of YouTube?" But
I'll kind of
I
answer
think
that.
you answered it.
The mamas, all the mamas.
All right. So, if you don't know, Beth has a little side business. She is called Freeze Dried Favorites. You still do that, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's amazing. She sent me a sample pack a while back, and we ate every single bit of it. It was delicious. So, I have a couple of questions about that because I'd never heard of freeze dried candy until you mentioned it to me. Oh, hold on. Dad, I'm answering your question. Beth is the lady that sent me the freeze dried candy.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know where you got the idea from because I mean it was like completely foreign to me.
Yes. Well, I actually am trying to gear towards the realm that I was originally looking into. I like to hike and do like adventurous things. I have a really like close dear friend. She's a little more adventurous than me. She does like winter camping, and like her and her husband, he like makes leather sheaths for like knives and things. He's like an extreme camper. And I had
Wow.
always seen these extreme hikers and campers with like packs of like food, like space food. And they would go and on these trips, and then it made it lighter so they didn't have to carry things, and you'd add water and cook. And I'm like, oh, I really love to like make a business like that. Well, when I was talking to my oldest about it, she's like, Mom, I have to show you something that's like super awesome and yummy. She's like, the TikTok world has blown up about freeze dried like goodies and like treats. And I said, well, I always wanted to do like these packs for like adventurous. And she's like, well, can we do treats first and just see how it goes? And we'll just check it out. And I'm like, okay. So we like looked into what it was going to cost and how it was going to be for this business to do freeze drying. And it was a journey. I'll just say that it wasn't like super easy. It was a journey, but after we got it, it just like took off. It was really great. It was a blessing for our family, and it was good timing for us. So we just started making treats like crazy, and hopefully someday I'll get back to a little healthier because it's not very conducive to like how I usually feed my children.
Yeah, lots of sugar.
Yeah, a lot of sugar, a lot of dyes, not usually what like my kids they've never eaten McDonald's or anything. So it was a really big like flip to do all these like treats. But it's been fun, and they like it, and it's actually helped me because they're not too fond of candy anymore. So it helped me. I'm like,
They're tired of it now.
yeah, they are. So yeah,
That's funny.
yes.
I love your kids, and I love seeing your videos when you're doing the freeze dried favorites and your kids are in them with you. It's so sweet. I love that y'all all do it together.
Yeah,
That they're involved in everything. It's really sweet.
Yeah, they're the best.
And they're just really good kids. I love your kids. Even though I've never met them, I love them.
You know what? And it's super funny because my kids have never met your kids. And when I told them I was doing this, they were like, oh, I love her kids. They're like, oh, I love her too, but I really love her kids. And then they're like, are they going to be on it? And I'm like, no.
Probably not. We wouldn't get anything done if they were on here.
Right, me neither.
That's really sweet, though. I get it. My kids are a lot cuter.
No.
And Riley is hilarious.
She is so
We had Weston at the doctor the other day, and Riley had to be there with us. And she was asking the doctor to like check her heart and her lungs, and they even did the little blood pressure cuff on her just because she wanted it. She's hilarious.
she's so funny.
She
In
gets
fact,
whatever she wants.
the very first time I ever like saw you and met you, I was like, not stalking, not that level, but like I was like so enthused and laughing so hard. You had gotten a box from Stacy, and you were undoing it, and she was so cute because she was like trying to do the video with you, and my kids watched that like 10 times. They thought it was so funny and cute because she was just like, oh, I'll try that one, oh, I'll do this, and you're like, okay. Let's gear it back to the video.
Honestly, I think that's probably my favorite video that I've ever done. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
And Stacy is so sweet. I love Stacy.
She is. She's awesome.
Let me ask another question. Oh, what's your favorite freeze-dried item that you make?
Well, I don't eat a lot of it anymore, but when I do, I like the Skittles because like Skittles are usually really chewy and whatever, but they're like puffy and crunchy when you freeze dry them, and they like kind of explode. So I would have to say like the Skittles or like anything like the chocolate, like some of the Charleston Chew stuff and that stuff that's like puffy chocolate. That's really good. But I like chocolate. I'm a true mom.
Yeah.
So probably those.
The Charleston Chews and the sour Skittles that you sent, those were actually my favorites too.
Yeah, I
They
love
were so
sour.
good.
Yeah, those are so good.
Riley looked for them every day. I had them on top of the fridge, like trying to pace her. And every single morning she'd wake up and she'd be like, Mom, I want the puffy Skittles.
Oh my gosh, I love her. A child after my own heart.
Yep. Okay, so you also do some modeling and some acting, which I find, again, foreign to me. So I find it super, super interesting. How did you get into that? Did you just grow up in that world, or?
No, it was the girls. The girls again. They started when Mila's 9. She was about 1.5 or 2, and they got signed by an agency in Minneapolis where we used to live. And the owner of the agency kept asking every time we'd come in, she'd say, I think you should try to go to some of these bookings with your kids and just try, at an audition here or there. And I'd say, no, I'll be the driver. I'm not going. Because I was so nervous. You think it's like this, it's nerve wracking. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, then like as an adult, I got like braces and I'm like, not doing it. I have braces. And so then finally, like probably the 4th time she asked, we were in a meeting and she just said, just go to one thing. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And I got to go and spend like the day with my kid, and it was so fun. And we just like got our own little time. Like each kid, when I do something with them, it's the most fun for me because I get to spend like time with them. We bring their homeschool work with, and it just feels like a day of fun, but then you get paid to do it. So I'm like, oh, this is like neat. So I fell in love with it, and now I actually do more stuff without them, unfortunately, but it's still really fun for me, and it's kind of been like a dream come true because I have a great agency. I have great actor friends, young and old, that I've made friends with, and it's really been a blessing to the girls and I, so they really like it.
Well, I've seen a little bit of your acting in those commercials, and you do a really good job. And your modeling, girl, you're so pretty.
Oh,
you're so pretty. You're such a good model. I love seeing all the pictures.
Oh, you're
and then
sweet.
Like sometimes you post the behind the scenes, which I'm nowhere near a model. I'm too awkward, even if I had the looks for it. But I've always been infatuated with it. Like it's so interesting to me, and I love seeing the process.
Yeah,
I like seeing everybody like get all dressed up, and sometimes it's like crazy.
Right.
I love
It's
seeing the before and afters.
chaotic, and then like it's like a lot of hurry up and wait when it's modeling. The acting stuff for me is more fun. Now my kids like modeling better than acting, because you do have to get out of your comfort zone with acting. Like they'll tell you to do goofy stuff
Yeah.
or look into the camera and be really silly, or and it is weird when you have like 10 producers and people watching you and standing there going and you're like, do they hate me? Do they love me? Do they think I'm annoying? Like, it's just, I've learned to really like, and maybe it's just my age, but I'm like, you just can't care. You are what God gave you, and that's about it. So you just have to not care and enjoy life, because not everybody's going to love you.
I love that. But you're very good at it. And my dad is actually asking about the commercials. Like I've seen the car dealership ones.
Oh yeah, like Toyota. Yep, I've done Toyota.
Yeah.
I recently did one for Arizona Department of Health, which I can't wait till it comes out, because it was actually probably the coolest production I've ever been on, but we weren't allowed to share any of the behind the scenes till after it airs on TV. But they did like a Forbes magazine fake shoot, and they had this camera on the ceiling that like circled me like around on a platform, and I had to like throw confetti in the air and down. I had to do like Forbes magazine like posing, but it was a video, and they did all sorts of amazing like stuff with their camera angles. And us being in YouTube, we like love the angles and editing stuff. So I was just like, I'm like sitting there, and I'm supposed to be doing acting, looking at all our camera stuff, going, this is really cool. So I can't wait till that comes out. But yeah, I've done a lot of little stuff like that. I went to Los Angeles this year and did stuff for NASM, which is like a fitness and mental health program. A lot of like separate little companies that I didn't even really know about. A lot of them just need little actors for little segments of commercials, or whether it's their social media. I just did a thing for Ask Tia. Apparently it's like a women's gynecology thing. Sometimes we don't know until it's done, and they're like, oh, this is what that was for. So it's interesting. I mean, unless it's something really like, politically controversial or whatever, they don't necessarily tell you all the details. So,
Right.
but I did have a friend recently go and do a photo shoot for a makeup thing, and she had to sign an NDA where she couldn't know what was going on or any of it. And then randomly, Ariana Grande posted a picture of her, and it was for her makeup line. So it was really cool. I was like, oh, that is cool. Yeah.
That is really cool. That's awesome.
All of a sudden, I got like 1.6 million likes on something that I was tagged on, and I was like, what is this? And she's like,
goodness.
That was for Ariana Grande. I was like, that's really neat. So
That's really cool.
yeah, I was like, that's cool. Yeah, pretty neat.
And your kids do some of the acting. I saw, I don't remember what it was for or about, but I think they were in like a field, like running or something.
They've done so many things.
It was really cute. I have no clue what it was for, but it was really cute looking. I don't know if it was like a clothesline or what.
Yeah, I probably don't remember at all. There's only been a few things that we've all gotten to do together. We did a Scotch-Brite commercial when they were little, and that actually was taped at our home in Minnesota, which was really cool because production came to our house and they did all this stuff, and the setup was amazing. It was really, really cool to have it in your home. But Mila has really done a lot of stuff compared to the other girls. She's done Larabar and Pizza Hut and Target, and she's done like tons of stuff compared to the other girls. So I think they're, if they weren't such sweet, nice girls, they probably would have issues with that, and competitiveness. But they're just really easygoing, and they don't ever have a problem if someone gets something and one doesn't. They're just so sweet to each other. I'm really lucky because they're just good kids. They don't fight about that ever. So it's nice.
Well, let me let you, since we're talking about your kids, let me let you kind of introduce them a little bit so that people know who you're talking about. Just like their names and ages or whatever.
Yeah, I have Sienna, who is 15. She'll be 16 in April. I cannot believe that. That's crazy. And let's see, I have Audrey, who's 10. Audrey's named after my grandmother, and she is just the gem that my grandmother was. And she is the typical middle child, sweet, helping, wonderful, awesome little girl. And Mila is our littlest, and she is 9, and she's very energetic. She is hyper active, wants to do something. She is ready to play and not ever ready to sleep. So I'm always like,
her and Riley would get along so good.
oh, I know. They actually have similar personalities. And it's so funny because Mila is very drawn to Riley. She's like, I just love her. She's so interesting. I'm like, it's because you're twins. You're identical.
Yeah. Maybe they'll get to meet one day. That would be really fun.
Yes. Well, you always have a place to stay in hot desert Arizona.
That's good to know. Same. If you ever come to Mississippi, which I don't really know why anybody would travel to Mississippi for fun.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure it's fun.
But I mean, there's not very many touristy things. Sorry. Talking kind of triggers the coughing. So, I mean, I guess we have like the Gulfport, which is like the beach, but it's a ugly beach.
Yeah.
The sand is pretty, but the water is super murky. And I remember going one time and there was like dead fish on the beach.
I bet, you know what?
So,
lakes like that. I've seen them, doesn't scare me.
I mean, there's probably some things here that I guess could be touristy. There's a few fun things to do, but I mean, I don't know.
You were cracking me up.
I guess because I live here, I don't see what everybody else might see.
Right.
But I mean, nobody ever thinks about going to Mississippi for vacation. So there's probably a reason.
Maybe I'll be the first. Maybe I'll be the first. I'll be like, and I'll YouTube it. I'll be like, Charity, you are wrong. I'm going to Mississippi for the best vacation I've ever been on.
Well, I would try to make it fun. Anyway, we have a lot of land that you could hike on.
Hey, that's fun.
Since you like to hike, that would be fun. You just got to watch out for snakes.
Hey, we have those here too.
I hate snakes.
I don't like them either. They're gross.
I don't like the snakes. Okay. I got a cough again.
You're good.
So sorry. What time is it? Okay, we're good. You homeschool your kids.
Yes.
Is that like because you do a lot of like the modeling and acting and stuff, or what was your reason to start homeschooling?
We started homeschooling when Sienna was going into the 5th grade. She's in the 10th grade going into the 11th grade. And it was a little of both, but more towards, we wanted our girls to grow up in like a worldly view. We wanted them to also have, we wanted them to have God in their curriculum, not just on Sundays, if that makes sense. So we wanted them to be able to take a Bible class and know the Bible and know and have Christianity mixed in their history and in their science and in their math and all that stuff. And, we could have easily sent them to, there was a Christian school in our town. We could have easily sent them and it would have weighed heavy on us financially. And I think that was weighing in on it, but mostly, and now I can say it looking back, I'm like, now I can see even more that quality time that I got with my girls and to be the one that they ask the questions, the worldly questions that are really important. I'm super glad that I didn't have I love the teachers. I think teachers are amazing. They're wonderful people. But we're all really different in how we view things, and everybody's really different of their opinions and what direction they're going in. And I'm really glad that I could tell the girls where we're at, and they can make their own opinions based on that. But to raise them as godly young ladies and to have good morals and be caring, kind people was really important for me. Not necessarily to be scholars of the world. And I do want them to be scholars and I want them to do really well in school. but our ultimate goal was to know God and make Him known. So we wanted the girls to have that, and we figured the only real way to do it the way we wanted is if they did school with us in our home. So that was just agreed upon. And I'm not gonna lie, I've gone back and forth as I have a teenager now with, should I send her to school? Should I try that? Especially our living situation is really different now. I think about, like, should I send her somewhere where she's getting education from a different adult? Should I send her to get more socialization? And then I think to myself, I have gained so much addition by subtraction, subtracting all those cares and worries of the girls, fighting and issues that teenagers sometimes have in school. My daughter doesn't even understand those issues. Like, if she'll say, someone that she knows in a public school setting, she'll say, oh, they were fighting over this, or someone talked to so-and-so and they talked behind this person. But she's like, I just don't understand that. She just doesn't understand it. And it's mind-boggling, because I grew up in a public school setting and I did just fine, and I had wonderful parents and it was fine. But I just wish I could have had that, because I was heavily, even in elementary school, I was heavily bullied. I wasn't very outgoing. And I thought to myself, if I could have the heart that my teenager has and be so strong to be like, that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is A, B, and C, that you're kind and loving and that you love God and that you show that on your sleeve. So I'm just really proud of that part of it. But yeah, that's kind of why we homeschooled, or started anyway.
I should have recorded that so that I could show it to certain people.
Yes, it's hard at the beginning.
We're homeschooling. Yeah, we're homeschooling for literally the exact everything that you said. Exact.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a struggle because Riley, I haven't figured out how how to teach her. She doesn't focus very well, so it's hard for me to kind of figure out. But I'm determined.
Yeah.
We're keeping her home. And then too, with Weston having Down syndrome, I worry about, as a mom, I worry about everything.
Yeah, right.
About being in a school where you're, different, and he would probably never even know if he was bullied. Like, he would probably never even know.
Yeah.
But I would.
Mm-hmm. And hurt your heart.
And, you hear so many horror stories of, like, the teachers or people that are watching the kids being, like, really.
Right.
I'm just really overprotective. And with Weston, my goals for him is to know how to read and write.
Yeah.
But I want him to know how to take care of himself. Like, that's my main thing. I want him to be able to cook and clean and just be able to make it. Like, if something ever happened, he would kind of know what to do, like, if we weren't there later.
Right.
Which, I mean, he would always have somebody there, but that's more important to me than that's more important to me than him, like, learning all the extra things.
And don't you ever think, who can love your child? God gave us our children to love them to the fullest, like He loves us. And I'm like, how? It's not even their fault, because teachers have 30 kids or however many kids they have. There is no way they can love and teach them in the way that we can individually, one-on-one. We love our kids because they came from us, and or if you've adopted a child, you've chosen to adopt them, and you love them to the fullest. They're your child. So to hand them to a teacher, some may disagree. I had a child care facility for 10 years, and I have to say I loved those kids. Like, I loved them. But there's no way I could spend that much time individually teaching, each kid as much as I wanted to. I always felt like I was falling short every single day with, daycare, because I was like, I feel like I could have taught you 10 more things, but really those kids actually taught me more than I ever taught them. So that was a blessing.
You have a lot of patience to be able to do that. I love kids, but
you're like, but
I'm fine just having my own.
I get it.
I can't handle other people. I actually homeschooled off and on growing up, depending on where we lived. My dad's a preacher. So we lived in a few different places, and depending on the school district, we kind of homeschooled off and on. And my dad actually commented that, I'll put it up on the screen.
I just thought he said Mississippi is great.
Wait, why did it go off? No, but he said that I had a great, yeah. The hours that were spent in tears over algebra.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I learned it, but that was a struggle. Dad, I love you.
I didn't homeschool,
but you know, it was a struggle.
Yeah, bless him. That is. Yeah.
I mean, he's very good. He's very good, smart when it comes to math. And I mean, I'm smart and I could get it, but it took a little while for me to get it.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that. He had to learn how to teach me, kind of like how I'm trying to learn how to teach Riley.
You know what?
No, but like, in high school. Okay.
Is it backed up?
Okay. I think you're in real time now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I didn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, I just said a lot of the struggle with homeschooling sometimes is more actually relationship building and patience and character building than it is the math or, whatever subject that you're working on. And I had to learn that the tough way, especially with my oldest, because we butt heads. And I'm like, oh, this isn't about math. This is God teaching me to cool my jets.
Yep.
Nah.
Well, in high school, I homeschooled 1 year in high school, my 10th grade year, but I went to 2 different schools my 9th grade year, which I enjoyed. And then I went to school my 11th and 12th grade year. And, I'm not sure that I would have rather homeschooled, but high school was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like my 11th and 12th grade year, I mean, I enjoyed the socialness of it, I think, but it was hard. I mean, kids are mean.
Yeah, they are.
And then just the atmosphere, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I get wanting to keep your kids home. And then too, I love the flexibility of it. You can travel when you're homeschooling, and the way the world is going, I'm more interested, like you said, in and I want them to do what interests them. Like I want them to know the basics and be smart, but I kind of want it to be led by them in like the areas that they want to learn. Like if Riley is interested in history, going towards history. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. Oh, it's cutting out. Am I losing you? I can't see you at all. Let me text you. Weather's probably not. I don't know if you can see me or not, but I can't see you at all or hear you. Just wing it. I sent her a message. Oh no, it said her internet went out. Well, she sent me monkey faces covering her eyes. Well, I still love you. Oh, bad weather. Okay, well, we can maybe try again. I'm just messaging her to see if she would like me to um, exit out or stay. By the way, I don't know if anyone can hear me, but Charity is to Chuck and Linda. Your daughter is the sweetest. It's challenge time. Oh, Alexa, stop. I don't know why Alexa thought I was saying something to her, but she's the sweetest and such a good, wonderful person. Oh, she said she's trying to get on through her phone. So she'll hopefully be back here in a second. Let's see. Hopefully. I think she's trying to get back on. Your weather's bad there, huh? There's no weather here.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry, the internet went out, so I had to get on my phone.
Darn. Your weather is bad there? What's going on?
Apparently. I didn't know that it was bad, but apparently it's bad.
Oh. What kind of weather? Is it
just like thunderstorms?
Oh.
We've had that for a couple of days now.
What temp is it there right now?
I don't know exactly, but earlier it was like 35 degrees.
Oh, that's cold.
And that's really cold.
Yes.
It's really cold.
It's 50, but it's still cold for me.
I don't know where we left off because I don't know.
You were talking about homeschool and your dad being the very best algebra teacher ever. Yes.
I think I was just talking about that I like the flexibility of it and being able to kind of foster your kids' interests. Because if they're in school, they don't necessarily get to learn things that are in their interests.
No.
So I like that if Riley is more interested in science, that we could do more with that from home than she would get to do in school.
Right.
There's so many pluses to it.
Yes. My girls started going to a group on Mondays. It's called Branches, and it does exactly what you were just talking about. Sienna's taking like a podcasting class, and she was doing CPR and first aid for like babysitting, and the younger girls were taking just like some random like beading classes, which was more of a fun class, and social studies because Mila really likes social studies. So it was geared towards they get to pick 5 classes that they really wanted to kind of learn more about. And so each of them picked, 5 classes. I think one of them picked chemistry. And so it was really interesting because when you said that, I'm like, they would have never got to pick or have a voice to say, I'm really interested in chemistry or science. And now they get to do that. So I think it's really cool. I totally agree with you.
What curriculum did y'all use at Becca? Because that's the main one I know. That's that one, and then what's it called? The Good, and the Beautiful.
Yeah, Good and Beautiful we've used that for history before, but I used to use all sorts of different curriculums, and now we used to go to classical conversations. So we did classical teaching for a long time. That was for like 4 or 5 years, and we just found that it wasn't really working for our girls. Classical teaching, you do a lot of memory work, and then later on in life, when they become of the developed age, you would dig deeper into the things they'd memorized. So my girls would memorize history points, or like for math, they would memorize counting certain numbers. Like they had songs for like the twos. They'd sing like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And so they would know how to do math according to all those things. But as we got into the high school years, Sienna was taking, like, I think she was on like her 7th year of Latin, and she was doing college logic classes.
Wow.
It was great, but she wasn't gearing a lot of her stuff, or she was so worried about some of those really hard classes that she was kind of not falling short, but struggling through getting just her regular stuff done, her math and her writing and reading and the regular stuff that she needed to keep up with. So we kind of
Right.
pulled from that. And now the girls all do CLE, which is Christian Light Education.
Okay,
And
I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to look into that.
yeah, it's like it's a little, it's not fancy. So like if you get it, you get booklets. It's really simple. And I do believe it's like, it was originally like Mennonite. So it's like very simple books. So it's teaching, teaching math, and then they'll have like stories. They do a Bible class. So the Bible class is really great because it goes into deep depth with your Bible work, and then you have an assignment, a test, and so forth. So, but yeah, we really like CLE. And what I like about it is they also have an accredited program. So if you wanted to have Riley have like a counselor through there, you're still teacher. And the accredited program is just to check in and say, here we did all these things, especially in high school, so that you can say, oh, we got everything we needed in. The counselor's seen that, she knows what we need. She'll maybe help you say, okay, you need to go take this class still, and check in. So we've kind of been working with the wonderful people through there. So that's what we're doing right now.
That's really cool. I know Rebecca does that. I think my sister did some of that in high school. She homeschooled through her whole high school. Yeah, she's 5 years younger than me, but she homeschooled her entire high school. And my parents are in here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but she did the accredited, I think. And I think she could have graduated. Like, you can go to Florida where Rebecca originated,
Yeah,
and
I love that. They're
graduate
really,
with a class if you wanted to.
yeah,
But I mean, Rebecca is very hard.
yeah, it is.
Like,
But
that's what we always did when we homeschooled with Rebecca. And I like it because when we went in public school, we were always ahead, and public school was like a breeze.
mm-hmm.
But it's what's the word I'm looking for? Involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when we were in high school, me and my brother, he's a year younger than me, but we both did the 10th grade together. Like, he kind of skipped a year and did 10th grade with me. So he actually did 10th grade twice, because when we went back in public school, he still had to go back
Right.
to 10th grade, even though he just did it.
Mm-hmm.
But it would take us all day to
Yeah.
get done with our school, all day, mostly because we were pretty close and we were in the same grade. So we were looking at the same classes, and we joked around
Mm-hmm.
way too much. That's probably why it took so long, but it felt like it took us forever. I feel like surely there could have been a way that we could have, I don't
Been
know.
more productive.
But yeah, it was really hard. We're using the good and the beautiful for Riley right now.
Yeah, I love Good and Beautiful. That's a good curriculum.
Which right now my focus is just trying to get her to learn her letters and what they sound like. And I'm sorry, the camera's moving. I'm having to use my phone and I'm holding it. I just realized that I was kind of putting it all over the place. Anyway, I don't want to keep this. I don't want to go over an hour.
Yeah, you're fine.
So let's move on to the next couple of questions.
Absolutely.
So these are just kind of like personality things, I guess.
Okay.
What is your favorite pastime when you are at home?
Ooh, like with my kids or just on my own?
Both.
With the girls, we like to go hiking and trying new restaurants. They like to go to parks, and Sienna is a really easy kid where she can do little kid things, which I love about her, because we can go to a park and play on play sets and she will not complain about it. Like, she is not a kid to be like, oh, I'm 15. No, she will have fun. She will go with her sisters and she'll be the first one to climb on the monkey bars or whatever. So I like that. And
I love that she always has a smile on her face. Every time I see her, she's smiling, and it's the sweetest. I love it.
Yes, and Sienna is actually, Sienna's been struggling. She has really bad scoliosis, and so she's been struggling through some of that. And I always think it's so inspirational because she's just like, a happy kid in general and really easygoing. She was like that as a baby too. So I'm always like, oh, I feel like I could learn so much from like my kids. I'm like,
And it's really special to have a teenager that is happy like
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, most teenagers, even if they're good kids,
Yeah.
I mean, they're going through all kinds of crazy stuff. So happy is kind of hard to
Right.
find in a teenager. So
Right.
that's a blessing.
And she doesn't have like um she doesn't have like the urge to be, sassy or quite yet, or we always have little moments, but there's never anything big where I would be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you speak that way. And I always think like, I'm like, God, whenever that's coming, just prepare me to be patient. But she's just been really good with it. And I just think, like I said before, I think it is the fruit of having your kids be at home and teaching them, like seeing examples of things that happen. And you're like, do you want to be known that way, or do you want God to see you being that way? And it's easy. But anyway, back to your question. For myself, I love to go exercise. I love to, if I have time, read. But I feel like by the time I get to read now, I'm like falling asleep because I've had such a long day that I'm like, I can't even get to this book. I'm like, I'm so tired. My book's hitting my face.
Yeah. I was just talking to one of my friends about how much I missed reading.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, I used to would read a whole book in a
Me
night.
too.
Like, I'd be up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just don't have time. And when I do have time, I'm like, I just want to sleep.
I know,
I
right?
just want to sleep. Maybe when my kids are older,
I know. I
I'll be
know.
able to find a little bit of time.
Yes, I know. I always see these really good book suggestions, and I'm like, how do you have time to do that? And then it's usually someone that doesn't have children. I'm
Yep.
like, that's why you do that.
That would be why.
Yeah, that's why you do that. So, yeah.
What do you do to de-stress? Like, what do you do when you need to relax and unwind?
Right now I go to like a bar class, which I have made such a wonderful community of friends. Um, it's really cool because it's like older women, younger women. So I love to go there because a lot of the beginning of it is like heavy exercising, but at the end we do a lot of like breath work and like slow meditation stuff. And I always think it's interesting because we have a lot of wonderful godly mamas in there, and some of the people that instruct there, they at the end when they're doing meditation, they'll always start their morning. I have one friend that says like the perfect things, when you're like, I needed to hear that. She'll be like, she'll say stuff, example, like, remember that you get to move your body, you get to have legs, and you get to exercise today, and you get to walk out of this place, and you get to see the sun come up or breathe the air or speak. Many people don't have all these things that they get to do. So I really like going there to decompress because they always like remind me. And hey,
I want to go to my potty, Mommy.
Okay. You might hear a toilet flush here in a second.
that's okay. I'm with you.
I don't know why she had to come in here and ask me.
Okay.
Well, I don't share your love of exercising. I do like to get out and hike and move, but exercising, I haven't found the type of exercise that speaks to me. I do like yoga.
Yes.
But I liked it more before I had kids and my core died.
Oh, yes. Trust me. I did not like exercising before this either. And my friend got me to go, and I was like, well, I don't want to exercise in front of anybody. Like that was like, I was like, I'm not working out in front of anybody. But then when I realized it was more of like a group, I don't know, it's such a community, and it's probably specifically this studio, but they just have really great
And
people.
I went to a scary movie.
Is it a scary movie?
Oh no.
Nick's in there watching one of the live Scooby-Doo movies.
No.
The
Like that. Like bigger, like the tummy.
Telling.
Roar.
Are you telling on Dad? Like, he is watching this.
It was like the Spooky Island or Haunted Island one.
Oh, yes.
But I did want to say that there is a lot to be said about deep breathing.
Yes.
The difference that it makes was shocking to me. I'd never thought about it, but my Young Living coach actually like mentors me a lot about like stress and health and all that kind of stuff. And she said, you just need to remember when you're starting to feel anxious to just stop and take some really deep breaths. And I've started doing that, and it is really surprising to me how helpful it is.
Yes. I know.
I wish I had known that my whole life, which I guess, I mean, you do know that. You just don't.
I don't do it. I never did it before. You know, you have to be reminded sometimes of the simplest things. But with Young Living, like the peace and calm, my kids actually used to have a roller because they would get anxious or whatever. And they used to like roll that on them and then just like breathe it in. And I'm telling you, like, you'd see an actual difference in their behavior that you'd be like, okay. I'm a believer.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah. Young Living was a godsend to me. It has helped so much in so many different aspects. We're running out of time. I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Random questions.
Okay.
Where is your favorite, or the question is, what's your favorite travel destination? But it doesn't have to be somewhere you've already been. Like, if there's somewhere that where would you want to go if you could go anywhere? It could be somewhere you've been or somewhere you haven't.
Well, if I could go anywhere, I'd probably go back to Korea because I was adopted, and I would love to see where I'm from, what my culture looks like. You know, I don't have a lot of connections with that, and my parents are great parents, and I love them dearly. They're very sweet, but it's always kind of for adoptive kids if you have adopted friends. It's not that it's awkward. Your dad said Mississippi. Yes, Mississippi. But it is like not a touchy subject, but it's like an uncomfortable sometimes subject. You never want, as an adoptive child, to make your parents feel like they're less than anything. You know, they're my parents. I love them.
Right.
And at the same time, they don't want to bring it up to me probably because they don't want me to feel bad about how my life began, you know? So I would say Korea, if I could go anywhere. But my girls and I really like to go to like the Newport Beach area. We just love to sit on the, at the pier and listen to the water, and that's about it. It's so boring, but it's peaceful.
Well, I mean, there's nothing like the sound of waves.
Yes.
Hitting the shore. It's so relaxing.
It
There's something magical in it.
It is. It is.
It's awesome.
Like deep breathing.
Yeah. Dad, I just realized that you never put your link.
Oh yeah.
In the comments, put your link in there too. Don't leave yourself out. Honestly, I really want to go to Scotland.
Me too.
And see Stacy.
That would be so cool. And it's beautiful there. Like,
yes.
I've seen so many pictures and I'm like,
oh, it's so pretty.
Wow.
I want to go so bad. That's a goal, to go to Scotland one day. But I also really want to see like the Montana, Wyoming, that area, like Yellowstone.
Montana is really pretty. People don't know that. It's pretty.
Yeah, I want to see it really bad. My uncle and his family went up there and went to Yellowstone, and it was just beautiful. I would love to see it in person. I can only imagine. Yeah, me and Jackie plan all the time to go to Scotland together.
Okay, I'm coming with.
Yes, definitely. It would be a lot of fun. Okay, last question, because we're coming up on like 5 minutes till we hit an hour.
Perfect.
What is your favorite coffee order?
Oh my goodness, my favorite coffee order. Well, I usually would just, I like oat milk. I have struggles with dairy. So I usually get like a white mocha or something like that with oat milk. Really simple and plain.
My favorite used to be like the cinnamon dulce latte from Starbucks.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
But they don't really make it anymore.
What?
But I'm trying to remember what exactly it was called. It's like a brown sugar
Oh,
coconut latte.
Ooh.
I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it had brown sugar and cinnamon in it,
Okay,
and
yum.
it was so good. Like, that was my next
If you
favorite.
remember.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it was actually like they had it on their menu, like you could actually see it. And a lot of the Starbucks drinks you can't see on the menu,
no.
like when you drive up. But it was on the menu and it looked good. So next
You're
time
like,
I go, I'll take a picture of it.
oh, yes. Oh, hi, Troy.
Hey, Troy. Let me.
She's so sweet. She's the best.
But yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
That was
doing
awesome. I
so
can't wait to watch all of your next ones. It'll be so good. This is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't even scheduled the next one, but this was really fun. If this is going to be fun, I'm excited about it.
That is super cool. If I can ever figure this out, I would love to do an interview with you as well and other people, because that'd be super cool to put it on my channel and show other people you. I
It's
just don't
actually
know.
it's super easy. So I'll send you the link.
Yeah, and your
on how
dad
to
can
do
be
it.
there.
Yes.
About algebra. No, I'm just kidding.
Algebra is really such a bad taste. Like, the word
It
algebra is a nasty taste in my mouth.
I know.
And I never use it. Like, what do we need it for?
See, we don't need it. Just kidding. I'm kidding, kids watching. We need it. Well,
Troy, you're fine. Troy's saying she's sorry that she's late, but you're fine.
You can rewatch
I'm sorry
it.
that we're ending it like right when you hopped on here.
I know, but we do love you.
Oh, I will put your link up here so other people can see it before we go.
Okay, I don't even know how you can
But anyway, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
It was good to see you.
Oh. What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, I was like, who are you talking to?
You said something in it, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like a scrap. I can't think of the word. I still have COVID brain.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, just thought I hope you have a good weekend.
All right. Well, I guess we will end it. It's probably going to be a super awkward ending because I don't know how to end anything. So I'm just going to say
a hug for me. That's all.
Yes, definitely. I will.
Okay,
Same. Tell your girls I said hey.
I will. Sounds good. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.